we're going to be building out a customized template that I will then pass on to Omar, and he will load it directly into his ClickFunnels account. So first thing we're going to do is click Create New inside here, and you do need to have ClickFunnels for this software. It works alongside ClickFunnels. So let's name this. Well, what was the name of the product we were going to do? Is it Red Dragon Click? Red Dragon. I'm just going to put Red.
Yeah, it's called Click Dragon, but yeah, Red Dragon works.
Okay, Red Dragon Mouse. Now, our goal is we have 4 options here. Sell a product without an order form, sell a product with an order form, webinar sign-up page, or a lead sign-up page, like with an opt-in form. So for this one, I'm going to choose sell a product without an order form. Now, here's how it goes, right? Like I said, you choose out section by section by section by section. So first, let's choose our header. I'm thinking this first one right here. As you can see, they're being added along the right side corner over here. So you can see on like an overview, on like an eagle's eye view, what the page is going to look like. So after that, I will add a little section with an image. Let's add some benefits. Let's do 4 benefits. Let's do this one. Let me add maybe 1 more. Actually, I'll skip this for now. Skip testimonials. We're going to keep it kind of simpler just for the sake of demonstrating this to you guys. I don't want you guys sitting here for 2 hours watching this. So let's make it 4 sections overall. Final call to action will be this right here. Now you can see this is what the landing page is going to look like right here. You can click these little delete icons if you want to get rid of any sections. And last step is choosing our call to action color. So the product we're going to be doing, it's kind of black and red. So I want to choose something a little contrasting. So we're going to use a blue color, something like this. And Template Builder is going to set all the button colors to that specific color code right here. I'm going to click I'm finished. Now we have our preview right here. This is what the landing page template will look like. And then I'm going to click Build Template Now. You can see this little orange loading bar at the top corner up here. Takes a second sometimes. Okay, so as you guys saw, it's building it out right now. I actually already built out the same exact one before this presentation just so that I could give it to Omar so we could cut the time of having to wait for that.
Yeah, let's get straight into it. In fact, what I'll do now, Neel, is share my screen.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick.
Yeah, sure. So let me just close out all these extra tabs that I don't need. All right, so we're in ClickFunnels, and we have a fully fleshed out template that Neel linked up to me using his template builder. So off the bat, as you can see, you guys can see the screen, right? Just to make sure.
I can see the screen.
All right, perfect. So if you can see it, I think it's good to go. Yeah, I mean, literally once you've exported your template and then you access it via ClickFunnels, you can just start to customize it off the bat. And you can see that it's very modular. That's what I love about your template builder, Neel, is that it's very modular. It's very easy to customize and switch out the content. And you got sort of all the strategies in place, right? So which is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this header area. And in fact, you want to export a logo. So the actual product that we're going to do, that we decided to do in this training particularly, is basically this mouse product that we have here. So if we were to create a landing page for this mouse, communicating the features and presenting the product in a profound way, number one, the product images, like as Neel described, needs to have a lot of hierarchy, needs to have, draw in the customer to want to keep wanting to know more about the product and eventually actually lead them to buying the product. So starting out with the logo, the brand is very important when it comes to any funnel design. So I'm going to go into Glorify now, and we'll start exporting a brand to start off with. So guys, as mentioned, we were on ClickFunnels earlier, and we are of course going through the funnel design process. Neel, of course, gave me access to his template that he built. So we're going to quickly export a logo for that template. Now, the product that we're particularly creating the logo for is this mouse. It's a very kind of gaming-oriented mouse. It's you'd see a lot of probably young folks use this, right? It looks very high tech. It looks very sort of futuristic almost. And so you want to kind of make the brand resonate with that. And Neel spoke about consistency. So branding is really, really important when it comes to consistency. So we're going to quickly knock this out. So the name that we came up with is Click Dragon. I mean, something that we've thought of off the bat wasn't something that we put much thought into. But, you can, in this first step, you just have to go ahead and pick the attributes that describe your brand, that you feel that explains what your brand is about the most. And then you go ahead and click next. You then go and filter out your colors. And if you guys are a Glorify user, you've been through this process, so you'll be familiar with this. For those of you guys who are not a Glorify user, then you'll notice that this is just simply a filtering out process so that you can generate the most accurate logo for the target audience that you have in mind. Now, because we call this dragon mouse, I'm going to go ahead and look for a dragon type icon. Would probably be most appropriate. And sorry guys, we're just having a bit of trouble on this side here. So, okay, we'll go ahead and pick like a flame type icon in this instance. And then the final step, you can just go ahead and customize the icon, of course. I think Big Mark has been kind of, for some reason, had a bit of weight on my system. So it's not been it's not been acting as smoothly as you'd expect for some reason. So we'll try that one more time, guys. So click dragon. Red, black, and white would be the color palette I'm looking at. Perfect. Okay, so the kind of dragon that I want to look for is something like this. And the final step, we just kind of tweak it up, make it a little bit more on brand. We'll go switch up this layout. I want to kind of make the text spacing a bit more tighter, make a nice little tight lockup. We'll reduce the line height. And of course, because of the selections that we selected earlier, we kind of narrowed down the fonts. So we can go ahead and pick something that works for this particular brand. I quite like this font. It looks a bit kind of techy almost, you can see. Let's just squeeze up the line height again. And there we go. I think what we can do is just increase the text space just a tad. So the logo maker is a tool, an add-on tool that we added on Glorify just for you guys to quickly knock up a logo, especially if you guys are on e-commerce doing drop shipping, you want to churn out a brand really fast. I think it's highly useful for you guys to basically do branding on steroids, I would say. Okay, so Neel mentioned he's going to use a blue for the complementary color of the button, the CTA, right, Neel? So in this instance, I've chose a color palette that's narrowed down. That's a complementary color to the red. And this way, I think this branding will look quite nice for this mouse, right? So we'll go ahead and click save and move on to the next step. So moving on to my ClickFunnels account, let me just bring this up and we can go ahead and start designing out this funnel. So if you guys remember in Neel's funnel, the template, there's a nice little placeholder for a logo. So we'll go replace that logo first things first. So let's go into my dashboard. I'm going to pick e-commerce, and it doesn't matter what size you pick. I'm just going to export the logo in a particular size. Go to my files, logos. We'll drop the logo in there and scale it up. I think Neel, you want to use a dark background, right?
Yes, I was thinking for the header dark background. Yes.
Right. So in that instance, what I'll do is I'll make a dark background version. I'll of course export this in a transparent, in transparent. What I want to do is resize this. I want the height to be, let's do a. So this is like 2,000. Let's do a 1,000. Let's say 1,000 width and a 200 height perhaps could work. Okay, that's too narrow. So let's resize that again. So 1,000 actually, so like about 500 should do the trick. There we go. So that's the size I'm looking for. So just a nice little scale. So we get a nice tight lockup in the image when we export it. And then what we can do is just download this as a transparent PNG. Now you might think it'll export to black, but it won't, because the way transparency works is the background. If you choose transparent as an option, it will actually clear up the background, right, off the bat. So we'll go ahead and jump into ClickFunnels and start adding the logo to begin with. So go add the image, go to my desktop, my downloads, and here's the logo that I just exported. Drop it in here.
I'm sending you some backgrounds on Facebook Messenger as well, Omar.
Sounds good. Okay, let me add that background that Neel just created. You just shot it to me on Facebook?
Yeah, it just sent.
Okay, cool. Let me do that.
You can choose any of those three that you want.
So this is fun, man. I like the collaborative process. I mean, especially when it comes to the creative process, if you're able to collaborate on it, it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'm digging this background already. I can't wait to put it on. Let's give it a go. So go to the background image, and we'll go again, drag drop right into ClickFunnels. So we put it in was it in downloads or desktop? I think I've dropped it in desktop. There we go, and boom. Let's see how this turns out. Now, the exciting part is yet to happen. We need to, of course. Okay, that was pretty cool. I do need to shift up this alignment, right? So let's do. Would you say full center parallax would be the right one to go?
I would say 100% width on the header.
Okay, 100% width. Okay, let's do that then. Excellent. And I'm just going to go and get some placeholder copy for this. So number one, we're looking at the Pro Gamer. Of course, this text needs to be white for it to stand out, and we'll scale this up. Should we drop the line height, I believe, right?
Yes.
Cool. It's looking decent already. I think we can make this logo just a bit bigger, right?
Yep. Say like
200 looks good?
Yeah, 200 looks good.
Cool. Okay, so this is where the exciting part happens. We want to quickly switch up this image to a nice and powerful product image. So I can leave this logo here. I'll just simply go to pages, add a new page, and we'll go pick a product image to work off. Okay, so I think blobs are pretty popular, and this particular product image has a blob in it. I mean, there's so many different ways to obviously pick a template. If you're a Glorify user, you're probably already taking advantage of, for example, the category system. You can pick a multitude of categories from niches to themes and categorize the template selections based on that. You can obviously start from scratch, but in this instance, I think we'll go with this template with the blob. And that's the great thing about Glorify is that you don't necessarily always have to rely on using the same product for the exact same template template for your particular product. You can, they're very modular, so it doesn't matter what product is on the template. You can just switch out the product with yours and then start customizing it. So it all comes down to the design that you're looking for. So in this instance, I think the blob works pretty decent here. I'll go ahead and replace this shoe with my product. In fact, I think I still have to upload the product. I forgot to do that. So we'll go in and go to my Glorify shots and take all of these, in fact, and we'll drop it inside Glorify. My workflow has just been like compromise just a tad after fixing all these glitches. So I'm just kind of, there we go. I need to get my rhythm back. All right, cool. So we uploaded the images. We'll go ahead, pick the shoe, replace it with the upload. And in this, I think you want a nice, strong image for your cover photo. So I think the mobile, the mouse in this kind of layout, just kind of the standard layout, I think works best. We'll go ahead and choose the infamous background remover, and within seconds the AI does its thing. We can clear off the background in literally just a second. We can double click this image, tighten up the crop so that we can get a much more nicer and smoother crop, tighter crop. And the reason I do this is just so that it's easier to maneuver the image. If you're working with massive, margins or bounding box, then it can become a bit frustrating to use. There's a bit of a texture here, but I don't want to use that. We'll go ahead and rebrand this whole image with the click, drag, and branding. So we can just kind of switch up the colors by using the branded feature, which is, again, another very popular feature in our platform. But in this instance, I don't need these shapes that this template comes with. I think we'll skip that. And in fact, we can even get rid of the text, some of the text we don't need. We could probably...
Omar, actually, can you Control Z that? Let's keep the big, thick text and just put it behind the mouse, maybe saying the word gaming.
Cool, let's do that.
And then turn the opacity down. Make it maybe white, and then turn the opacity down to maybe like 25 or something like that.
Let's give that a go. I trust you, Neel. You're the man.
Because since we'll have a darker background on our header section as well, that transparent white will also show up on that. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, we can, just to demo what this would look like, we can go black, and then that can give us predictability. So would you say, should we switch up this font?
Yeah, something as thick still, but
I quite like the Techo one, which is an interesting one. It's very
oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, it's very kind of often seen in the text space, this font. Do we need this little pieces of text here?
You can leave those there. Yeah, if you write something interesting in that and leave those full white.
Yeah.
Just
super accurate. My copywriting skills right now is just is not in the best. It's not an optimum, but super accurate.
Fully customizable, something like that.
Yeah, that works. Customizable, fully customizable. Okay, so should we overlap this text, or should we switch this up?
Yeah, no, I like how that white text is on top of it. That looks good to me.
Cool. Well, we can go
maybe
into
make the mouse a little bit bigger.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Because remember, guys, the most important things need to have the biggest size and the most contrast.
Absolutely.
Nice. That looks really good to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let's go in, and we've got this cool feature we just recently introduced, which is noise. Would you want to play around with that, or should we try something else? I mean, we can increase the saturation just to pop the colors a bit more.
Yeah, and try the contrast too.
Yeah, a bit of contrast, just a tad bit of brightness and a bit of contrast, just to pop those colors a bit more. Let's see what the noise looks like. It's interesting, the noise, but do you think we should go for the smoother look? What do you think?
Yeah, probably a smoother. Yeah, smoother look.
Cool. All right, let's go back with the smoother look. I want to give this a gradient. So, I tried this out earlier and it kind of looked cool. What I would do is probably darken one side of it just a tad.
Yeah, it does look cool.
We can maybe perhaps use like a drop shadow here, blur this out, and maybe increase the distance just around here. What do you think of that, Neel? Are we?
Yeah, turn the opacity down to like 75% on the shadow.
Let's try that. Yeah, so I'm around 60 now. How's that?
Yeah, that looks good. That looks good to me.
Cool. want to switch up the gradient direction. I mean, should we try this, or I think this one looks good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Just one more time. Yeah, cool. Make sure my perfectionist side doesn't come and take over, you know, because sometimes my team often complains about this, that I can get extremely perfectionist with the design process. But
yeah, I'm like that too. By the way, Esteban is asking you, can you make the mouse exceed the frame?
I could, but I wouldn't in this instance, because then you'll chop off the mouse, right? And we don't want that for this particular image on the funnel. So we call this. So what's the brand again? It's called Click Dragon, right?
Click Dragon.
Who knows? I mean, that could be a real brand in the future. I mean, if we you know, maybe put enough effort into it.
Yeah.
Potentially a drop shipping product. Who knows? But let's go ahead and add this awesome image into our funnel and see how that looks. I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like, in fact. Drop that in here. And the moment arrives. Who's exciting? Who's excited? I'm kind of giddy with excitement, actually.
I'm excited.
No, ClickFunnels, don't fail on me now. See, this is a problem with, we've been having issues with Big Marker being a webinar platform. Sometimes it tends to compromise on the loading of other apps, unfortunately.
It doesn't make sense to me. That's how it is for any webinar platform, it feels like. It just lags everything.
Yeah, it is strange. Wow.
Nice.
I'm impressed, man. That looks quite powerful. I'm quite really happy with the top banner, in fact. What do you think, Neel?
Yeah, I love it. I really like it. Can you also test out in that header using one of the darker backgrounds I had sent? Maybe the third one?
I was gonna say maybe a lighter version could actually help. Let's try that. So it gives more contrast, I guess, right? So
yeah, exactly.
You've given me a couple. So let me just see which one looks the best. Okay, this one's interesting. Let's try this one. I'm gonna drop that in my desktop. I think it'll just make things pop a bit more, right?
Yes.
Download desktop. Okay, so we're kind of running out of time, so we're gonna have to speed through this process. I mean, a lot of that time was because of the glitchiness that we experienced earlier, but I think we can make up for it. We can definitely make up for it. Okay, so that's been added. Yeah, that's working, man. Yeah, it just pops a lot more. Definitely, it pops a lot more. So I think I'll switch up the call to action to buy now. And
I would make it not all caps. I would make it yeah.
So like that, or just buy now.
But every letter capitalized, every word capitalized.
Oh, every word capitalized. Okay, buy now. Do we increase the size, or do we do anything else to that, or is that good?
No, I think it would maybe need like one more word in it, just so it's less ambiguous, you know, like maybe improve your gaming now, something that has meaning to it, right?
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, I think if you add more weight to the call to action, it will just really draw you in, right?
Yep.
I like that.
Rule number one is never have a button that says submit.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, so I like that tip, man. And you know, you often come across a lot of funnels that have very generic call to actions.
Yeah.
I mean, off the top of my head, maybe like you said, you know, start gaming like a pro.
Yes,
like
that sounds good to me.
Nice.
Again, though, I'll leave it probably not all capitalized.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, just for usability purposes, like there's been studies done and stuff that just you should always write it as natural as possible rather than all caps on things.
Okay, that's really interesting. I am not doing the same thing to my funnels, which you know leads me to rethink how I look at my funnels, which is good.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm really excited about this header, Neel. I think we'll just jump onto the next section. So the next section we want to do, you know, Neel spoke about, you know, making your images powerful and engaging as possible. And I think part of what was one of your lessons, an image speaks 1,000 words, right, Neel?
Yes. So we should have an annotated image. Let's make an annotated image of this mouse.
Perfect. Let's go and do that. Now I'm just going to pull up some information of this mouse so I know exactly what kind of features we want to show off. Okay, so there's a lot of tech specs when it comes to mice. So we'll go ahead and I'll jump into, we'll create a new page. In fact, what we could do is simply duplicate this page so that we can get a head start. And from this, I'm going to go ahead and replace this with another angle of the mouse. We'll use perhaps the top-down view. Yep. Now we've got a bit of a crop issue here, so we'll just reset the crop because the previous mouse was cropped differently. And we'll go ahead and background, remove it. Remove the background. So again, the AI does a great job in removing the background. You don't have to do much manual work, but obviously if it was a more complex product, then you will have to do a bit more finessing with the background remover tool. We were lucky enough not to in this case. So I quite like this. I think to do a proper annotation, we might have to make this a little bit more open. So we'll remove this particular yeah, so that looks good. I do think that, I want to make another blob. So we'll use the blob maker in this instance. Okay, so for some reason the blob maker is not being recognized at the moment. And again, I think it's to do with the weight on the current. That was fine. We'll just stick to the blob that we have. Okay, so we'll go ahead and switch up this blob around.
Nice, I like that.
And we'll kind of tweak this a bit, and we can start to. Now, I mean, one way to do this, by the way, guys, is, I'm going to start my annotation from scratch, but you've got a bunch of annotated templates here to get you kick-started if you liked, right? So there's those options here available too. For me, in this instance, I think I'm just going to start from scratch. So we'll go ahead, go to the Annotate tool, and pick your favorite annotation. I quite like this one. I've used this in many cases. And then we just have to point at the different features. So the first feature I want to point at is the right button menu. So right button menu, we'll just call that a couple of features for this, just for the case of this training. Right button menu. So what I like to do with annotations is making sure that, okay, so the right button. I'm a bit dyslexic. I almost forgot which is right and which is left. Okay, so there's your first annotation. Now, when I make annotations, I like to make sure that all the annotations, kind of have consistency throughout. So that it needs to be the same. Of course, it needs to be the same weight, the same size. Those things are given. But on top of that, try things like making the annotations parallel to each other. So don't just have all kind of random directions that can look a bit messy. So in this instance, we got, for example, we got this button here. Let's call out this button, which is the DPI. Control. And we'll push this against the text there. In fact, what I'll do is I'll left align all the text, so I don't have to worry about this. And duplicate that. So you can tell in Glorify it's very easy to create these annotations just by duplicating the annotations and keep calling out the various features. You can start to show off your products, USPs and whatnot. So forward and backwards button. We'll just do a shortcut forwards and backwards button. So the text is getting a bit too big. So what I'm going to do is take all of this and scale it down a bit. There we go. Cool. Okay, so we've done the first most of the annotation. We'll add one more to depict the ergonomic grip. Okay, so the controls just went out of position. Let me just grab those. So you got this isolate button in Glorify to isolate items so that you don't pick any other items on the canvas. So temporarily what it'll do is it'll make everything else on the canvas unselectable. And then you can switch it off so that you can select other items again. This helps with your workflow a lot. So this was actually a feature that was in high demand. So ergonomic grip. Let's stop that right. What do you think of this image, Neel, so far? Earth to Neel?
Sorry, what?
Just wondering on your take, what do you think of this image so far?
Hello? You can hear me, Omar? It looks like it.
Yeah?
That font looks nice too. It fits the theme.
Although,
yes, I like that. It looks good so far.
excellent. Well, it's not the actual font that we were using before, but we'll go back to the other font because I realize it will be inconsistent. Although, I mean, for the sake of this video, I could have just, but it's fine. We'll go ahead and you know, consistency is the rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, that actually gives us a lot of room to play with, so we can go ahead and scale up this image. Do you think the annotations need to be smaller, lighter, for any reason?
I'd say a little bit bigger. I can't really read the text too well.
Cool. So you mean the text, right?
Yeah, the text.
Boom. Okay, let's do that then. Okay, I'm going to just select all of these layers. We'll scale these nice and up. Is that better?
Yes, that's much better.
I guess, again, capitalize, right?
Yeah. I mean, on the annotations, it's not too big of a deal, but on yeah, it all depends on the only time I ever use all caps is when there's spacing between each letter.
Right, I see. Are we happy with that image? Should we go ahead and export it?
Yeah, export it. Looks good.
Excellent. Let's see what it looks like on the page. I'm quite psyched about this. Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and jump in, switch this image up, go into my downloads, and we've got my annotation image that I just created. Oh man, I just realized it would have been cool if I made these annotations black. I mean, white background. So let me so black text, I mean. Let me just try that very quickly. Switch this up into black, because it's good to alternate the colors, right? In a funnel design. So you don't, I mean, that's one way of doing it. You can obviously stick to the same colors throughout. But I think this funnel would look quite nice with, you know, a variety of colors. Let's go back to my funnel design. We've got two options now, which is good.
Nice.
Cool. We're still on track. We're just at 8:30, so we're close to wrapping up soon. Excelente. So we'll go ahead and add that. What do you think, Neel?
It looks good. I personally like the white text one a bit more, but that would require this one to have a black background. Which, I mean, black background is fine on the second section.
Yeah, do you want to, should we go back? I've uploaded both, so we can try both. If you like.
Try out black background. Try out black background.
All right, let's do that then. Cool. And basically fully black, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit above. Yeah, that looks fine. That looks fine.
Excellent. Okay, so this one, I'm going to go back and ramp up and pick some decent copy for it.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. That looks good to me.
It looks nice. Yeah. I'm digging it. Okay, cool. So we got the next part, which is the awesome headline. So basically the section here, which is kind of showing off and diving deep in some of the features. So we'll call this section customize your settings. We'll bring the start gaming like a pro copy over here.
Yeah, you might have to reduce the size.
So like that.
Yeah, there, perfect.
What are we making this color as well, just so that I'm prepared when I create my icons?
You can just make that white, I'd say. White background. Yeah. Pure white, probably.
Let's try that. So customize the settings. So we've got a couple of benefits here that I want to quickly communicate in this funnel. Stay with us, guys. We're almost done in this funnel design process. I hope you guys have been following through and I mean, personally for me, this has been really exciting to see this funnel come alive. Slowly but surely. Let's see if I can get some features that we can communicate. Okay, so we'll call the first icon. So we've got a few features here. We'll call LED lights. Multiple DPI. Sorry, dense DPI. Customizable buttons, custom buttons, and ergonomic. Ergonomic. Okay, cool. So go ahead and start adding some icons here. So let's go ahead and do that. Going into, again, Glorify, back into Glorify, and we'll start adding icons. Now, the thing is with the awesome thing about Glorify is that you can stylize your icons, which is an awesome thing, right? So if I type in, for example, light or LED in this instance, something like this icon, we'll go ahead and stylize the actual icon. So here's the icon. I'm going to center it up, and I'll add a shape to it. So here's my icon with the shape. Scale it down. Actually, let's give it a perfectly square shape. We can go to the adjust, and let's go ahead and add the brand colors. Go to click, drag in, add the brand white, I'd say, and go to the border colors, add a nice white border, and of course the shape color itself, we'll pick the brand red from Click Dragon. So when we exported the logo before, we have the color completely accessible to the whole ecosystem within Glorify, which saves you a ton of time. I'm going to go ahead and switch up maybe the border, because this is going to be on a white background. I'm going to add a black border perhaps, and we'll scale up just the icon alone, just a tad. Okay, cool. So we're ready with that. Make the corner radius a bit rounded to give that modern feel. And we'll go ahead and download the first icon. So the really cool thing about Glorify is that once you've designed your first icon, you can simply go back to the same icon. You've got basically a brand kit stylized for you. You've designed your first icon. You can go ahead and simply change the icon to the next feature. So the next feature is dense DPI. So we can just do like a click button or something. Something like this perhaps would work. And then we'll download this. And the next feature is custom buttons. So we'll call that, just find a button icon. Something like that. And the next last feature is ergonomic, right? So comfort. That's a hard word to spell, man. Ergonomic. Finally got it. Okay, so here's something like this would work, I guess. You know, the mouse. And download transparent. So I've got my icons. Let's throw it into our funnel design. Just go ahead, multi-select all of these bad boys and drop them in here. All right, who in the audience would like to ask you a question while this is uploading? If you guys been having an exciting time, give me a shout out. And yeah, make some noise in the chat room, man.
Type those keys. Click those keys.
Bash those keys so that, you know, until they come off the key, come off your laptop or keyboard or whatever. Okay, cool. So we don't have icon. Neel, I guess we'd scale this up, right? So let's do like, not 200 is way too big. 100 looks good, right? To me.
Yep.
And we're going to just duplicate these a few times and replace them with Neel's icons, Neel's height placeholder icons. We'll go ahead and delete these. Okay, so the first thing is density. Second thing is button, customizable buttons. And finally, ergonomics. Neel, any comments on that so far? Does it stick to you? Is it in line with your rules of funnel design?
It's in line. Yes, it is in line. I personally, if I was to do it, I wouldn't have had the red box with the black border. I would have just had the icons themselves. But
okay,
I mean,
cool.
It works. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just my personal opinion, you know.
Perfect. No, that's cool, man. We're designers, so typically that's what tends to happen.
Yeah.
We're very opinionated in how things aesthetic should look like. Okay, so cool, man. I'm glad you like it. We're gonna go ahead and delete these sections. We don't need the testimonial sections. We'll just go straight into our CTA, and we might need a bit of guidance here from you, Neel. Like, how would you design? So I got a product image already ready for the CTA. So look no further. Start gaming like a pro. Do we just have the same text?
Yeah, I mean, you can have the same text or something different. You could even put like level up today or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Using gaming lingo.
Cool. I'm going to drop the final image in here. Background color?
Use one of the backgrounds I sent.
Cool. Let's do that.
You can even use that one. Yeah, that one you already used.
Yeah, and then we'll throw this in and make this.
You can do parallax on that one if you want. If you like, you can put parallax.
Yeah. Let's give that a go. I'd like to see what that might look like. Actually, it might look interesting. Cool, guys. And there, you know, lo and behold, we finally finished. We've completed this funnel. It didn't take too much time, considering, you know, this is a fully fledged funnel ready to convert customers to buyers. You run some ads to this particular product, and I'm sure it would convert. We're using a lot of Neel's theories. Let's go ahead and save it and see what it actually looks like in real life. Click Dragon.
Dragon.
We'll go ahead and click Preview. I'm really excited, man. Let's see how this looks. Cool.
Nice.
It's a clean funnel, man. It's a very clean funnel. I like it.
Can you expect it and put it into mobile view as well?
Yeah, sure. But let's go into mobile view. So let's go back to, I mean, do you want me to do it on the screen?
Go back to the live. Go back to the live version.
Yeah. Squeeze up the screen. Right.
Sorry, what was that?
Do I squeeze up the screen, or what do you want me to do?
Just right-click it, the page, and click Inspect. And then right there on the bottom left, the top left of that window, that little device's icon on the very left.
Oh, hey, I don't know this trick. This is wicked,
Yeah,
man.
you can't click the X though. Yeah, you got to view it like that.
Oh, you can't click the X. Okay, let me go back to that. Man, we just keep getting value bombs after value bombs from you today, man. Thanks a lot. All right, cool. This is the mobile preview. It looks clean. I mean, it's super responsive, and
Yep,
it's ready.
everything template builder should be completely mobile optimized every time you launch it, so you don't have to do anything.
Man, wow, that is awesome. I wish I could run some ads to this, man. Seriously, I wish I could. All right, guys, we're done with the funnel, the main part of the core part of the training of this particular webinar. We've got one last secret tip to share. Neel, over to you, man. Take
Okay,
over.
let me share my screen really quick. Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay, let me share mine now. You guys can see it?
Yep, perfectly clear.
Okay, guys, number 5. Your ad needs to match your landing page. Consistent theming even applies to ads. The main point of this is that you never, like I said, you never want your user to feel out of place. And that means that from the moment they see your ad to the moment they land on your landing page, they need to feel as if they're in the same ecosystem. So the ad should definitely match the branding of your landing page. You should use the same colors, same fonts as your landing pages so that visitors don't feel out of place when they arrive, right? It's as simple as this. Like, there's not much I can say about this. Just make sure that it matches. Like you can see right here, this is the landing page for this CBD product. Pretty nice design, you know? And I use the same sort of theming and design on the Facebook ad itself so that when they arrive on the page, they don't feel out of place. They feel like, okay, this is the landing page for the ad that I clicked on, which will always raise your results. You always want to make sure that everything is cohesive and themed properly. And now I'm going to give it back to Omar so that he can show you guys how you can easily do this on Glorify.
All right, guys. Thanks for that, Neel. Again, it's very important to realize the importance of consistency. So in this instance, what I'm going to do, bouncing off what Neel said, I'm going to go ahead and create that ad. So what I could do is simply take the first image that we did for the header, duplicate that, and then what I'll do is I'll resize that to a Facebook ad. So we'll go to Smart Resize.
I can't see your screen.
Oh, of course.
I caught you there.
I got a bit carried away for a moment. Okay, cool. So, perfect. Okay, guys, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen, yes.
Excelente. Okay, so going back to the process at hand, we've got, this product image. I just duplicated it, and I'm going to go ahead and reset. I mean, we could, of course, pick a bunch of Facebook ad templates that we have available on Glorify, and you can use that process to find the right template for you. I mean, look, if I go to product images and pick that blob design we had earlier, you'll find, plenty of designs within that bundle for you to ready for you to use, right? So, so let me actually go back to, okay, so going back to this design, I'll simply resize this to a Facebook advert. And I'll open that in the same tab. Don't save and just simply resize. And there you go. Just like that, we've got the right size for your Facebook ad. And you want to move the content accordingly so that you can create a bit of a hierarchy in the content itself. Now, of course, Facebook ads has this really annoying rule, which is you can't allow more than 20% text. So what I would do is design out my image and then just use the Facebook text overlay tool that they have online that's available free, of course, and just upload it and make sure you do your text. But let's go check out this landing page. Just remind ourselves how it looks. We have the logo there and we have the pro gaming partner got a CTA. So let's add these elements here. Okay, so we'll start with the logo. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to my files, add the logo, and we'll switch up the black to a white, scale this down. Now remember, the logo is also considered text. Okay, so I'll actually go ahead. We'll come back to it, but I might have to delete this text over here. We need another title. And this one is, let's go ahead and copy the text here. Boom. And go back here and copy, scale this up. Okay, and we'll tighten up the line height just a tad. And I think we're using Roboto for this particular one. So let's find Roboto in our font section. Pull that up. And line
You got to choose Roboto Slab.
Yeah, I don't think it's available at the moment, but you can actually upload your custom fonts on Glorify, but for this instance, I'll just kind of skip. What I'll do is add, but I do agree with you, Roboto Slab would be much more powerful in it. Start gaming like a pro. Okay, so that's the text. So we basically went to elements and added this element we call buttons. So button element's really awesome for you to kind of create the CTAs on your ads and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and pick the brand Click Dragon blue, which is this. I think Neel used a brighter blue, so we'll try to kind of get a bit more brightness in this blue. And we'll remove the border thickness. I don't think we need that. We'll very slightly give a rounded corner. It doesn't have to be too rounded. And scale this down. So the great thing about a button element in Glorify is that it's responsive. So you can just start to move these around and you don't have to worry about the little details of it being centralized and whatnot. So here, you can switch up the text. Man, what was that text again? Start gaming like a pro. Start fish memory. You know, that's just a trait that I have. Okay, so start gaming like a pro. And we can slightly scale down that font. Pick Roboto again for consistency. I like, this is speaking to me. And I think that there's your ad, guys. So just by using Neel's advice there, literally sticking to the same consistency that's found on the same landing page, we were able to create this ad. Now, I personally, what I would do is, because I'm pretty sure that we're overdoing the text in this scenario, so I'll scale this text down, and I'll in fact just delete this just for safety, And you could probably get away with these little pieces of text here, but again, it just needs testing on the text overlay tool within Facebook. You happy with that, Neel?
Yes, I'm happy with that. It looks good to me.
Excellent. Cool. Right. So
as simple as that.
That's it. In fact, this is not really helping this text. So I'm going to delete that. There's my design, guys. We've got a fully fledged Facebook advert. We've done the images on the landing page using Glorify. Then we created, translated the whole landing page into this advert that we can now start promoting. The Click Dragon gaming mouse. Okay, if only it existed, so that we can make millions and billions of dollars, right? But it does not. With that said, guys, I think we're complete with this training.